Okay.
And you can stick your head in there too. That way you can see me.
Way over here.
No, I got you.
Oh, yeah, fix it here. I'm a ponytail.
Gonna go live on Facebook here shortly, or on the radio station. So keep joining us. Keep sharing this information. I have an update from City Hall, and several major updates coming. So if you're on Facebook, we're gonna go live on the radio now. I don't always, just so you know, I don't always see calculations up here because it goes to all kinds of different locations.
We're
right?
just your guests.
You're listening to WKDW. Why isn't that? I got it. You're listening. It's not picking up. I got to reload. All right, hang in there, folks, on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Hang in there real quick. I got to reboot. Just the computer. Stay online. I promise you, I have updates coming. I just want to make sure that I get the listening audience on the radio, just because we've had some different power outages throughout the day and circumstances. I got to reboot this. So now you're watching me reboot right here live. And I apologize for that, but just please share. Get as many people listening as possible. Watching the video. This is going to be an update from City Hall of Northport. We've had some major improvements here, and we want to make sure we can get this information out. So please share this information right now. Get people watching. The more that we share this, remember, the more that you share it, the more that you encourage others to share it, the more information we can get out. I was in Rotunda today. I'm going to tell you about Rotunda. I'm going to tell you about gas. I'm going to tell you about the linemen that are here now that haven't been here in this amount. So you're going to be overly impressed on what's happening here. But we want to get this information out to as many people as possible. So please start sharing this and telling your friends to join in. You're listening to WKDW Radio 97.5 and KDWRadio.com. Your regularly scheduled programs are probably being interrupted right now as normal. And I just got to tell you, I've never been on the air this much in less than 1 week. But I've run into some amazing people. I'm going to have an update from City Hall. I'm going to make sure you guys get updated information as quickly as possible. Like I said before, please share this information. Sharing of information and accurate information is mission critical. Okay. So I've got a very special guest in the house today and I truly mean my house, my office. But I've got special guests in the house that we're driving down the road. So I'm going to let you tell the story.
Okay. Well, hello, Facebook world. My name is Erin Daly, and this is my trusted assistant and sidekick, Cheryl. We are here today with the United Cajun Navy. If you have never heard of the United Cajun Navy, then you probably should check out their Facebook. It's UnitedCajunNavy.org. They have been around since Hurricane Katrina. Right now, we are coming back from Fort Myers, where we delivered a bunch of premium and boat gas, because they have all of the little boats and the John boats going up and down in Fort Myers, and they are still conducting rescues down there. There are still people stranded, and the United Cajun Navy is out there doing hundreds of rescues. While we were there, we saw a definite need. So if you can find yourself in Fort Myers or anywhere where there's a need and you can fulfill it, that's so important. The needs that we found for today were hay. They are doing a great job down there helping people get their animals fed. It's a difficult time for people with big animals. So they had a whole stack of hay and alfalfa, and they're distributing it, but they can use more because it's going to be a cycle that's going to go on for months. Now, the way that you found me, John, was I was driving down the block. The United Cajun Navy also, as we're deployed, as a bunch of volunteers, goes around, and people have made phone calls and put in requests to the United Cajun Navy to check on their loved ones. Because of the lack of communication, people have no idea if their loved ones are okay. So people have put in a request to the United Cajun Navy. We get the addresses and we've gone out, and just this afternoon we made contact with at least 5 homeowners in Northport, made sure they were safe because their families were worried about them. We made sure that they had everything they needed, whether it's water, gas, but the United Cajun Navy is here for you. They've been doing disaster recovery through Hurricane Michael, of course, Hurricane Katrina. They were at Hurricane Irma, the other big one.
Yep.
And that's how Cheryl and I got involved, because when we were in Hurricane Michael, we ran into Todd Terrell, who was the founder of the United Cajun Navy, and it is a nationally recognized 501c3. So if you are watching from outside Florida and you really want to help us, please go to United Cajun Navy and get involved, make a donation. Every single dollar goes to helping Floridians in this time of crisis.
And were you involved in the hurricane?
Oh, well, yes. Actually, we're from Hernando County. Hernando County is starting its own huge operation this week where they're collecting donations, and we're coming back with a big caravan. But how this all happened was, I live in Hernando Beach, and Hernando Beach, which is about an hour north of Tampa, was evacuated. So I evacuated because I live on the water, and I went to Marco Island. Yeah, so I got stuck in the hurricane, came back, and I got diverted off of 75. I went through 75 the other day right before it was shut from the floods. And I got diverted off, and I drove through Northport, and I got to see some of the devastation here. So I've been through it in Breezy Point, Hurricane Sandy. We've been through it in Hernando Beach with Hurricane Hermine. Florida has seen it with Hurricane Michael, and now this dang Ian is here. But we are strong. Florida is strong. The United Cajun Navy will help you. John is here to help you and make sure that you get all the information. And Cheryl and Kinley here. Say hi, Kinley.
Kinley.
Hi, yeah. 12 years old. She's out there humping gas with us. So these are great volunteers with great spirit. No complaints from any volunteers. They're all out there doing the right thing. And I'm just so happy to get the word out.
Did you see help in Northport today? Did you see the amount of help that's pouring in here?
I saw we took some pictures, and they'll be available on our Facebook page, which is Operation Ian Hernando, United Cajun Navy.
Yep.
And some of those pictures, some of them will be from Northport. We saw a lot of those big mud boggers going down.
Yep.
And I'll be honest, there were some houses, though, that we tried to get to that we
Still
just
flooded.
couldn't.
Yep.
Because there were still roads flooded and stuff closed. But we'll be back.
Absolutely. Well,
yeah.
I appreciate you guys spending time with me. I really do. We've known each other a whopping 20 minutes. They were truly driving down the road, and we just got introduced because my wife was out there talking, and that's what the United Cajun Navy is doing. Is they're out doing safety checks to make sure our seniors are taken care of and anyone else that they're contacted by. So what is the best way for them to contact you guys right now?
UnitedCajunNavy.org that's the Facebook. You can put messages on there. If you want to reach me personally, you can go to the Operation Ian website. But we're here coming from Hernando County, and we're here to help using the Cajun Navy, and their phone number is 1-844-4UC-Navy.
The Navy is here for us.
That's the Cajun Navy, United Cajun Navy.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And please share this information.
Add,
Got anything? Seriously, this was a great way to intro into City Hall and get our update from Jason.
Yeah, Jason, thank you at City Hall. And I just want to real quick mention a thanks to the Brooksville City Hall. Helping this instrumental in making sure that our City Hall helps your City Hall too.
Jason, you got anything to say, buddy?
I sure do. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. And thank you to everybody out there who's come together in the community. It really is going to take an effort of everyone. And so people like John hosting this show to help get the information out, us here at City Hall, and all the employees of the city, the hardworking first responders, obviously, and then just the members of the community that are coming together to help this recovery effort, because it's going to be a big job and it's going to take a long time. But we need everybody to do their part. So we're very thankful to have that.
What is some of the amazing information you're going to share with us today? Because truthfully, if people are feeling negative, there's a lot of positive happening within the walls of our community, isn't it?
There really is. I was lucky enough and very happy to get outside today a little bit and go over to the point of distribution that's been set up at the San Pedro Catholic Church. And so I know there were a little bit of delays. That site was supposed to open yesterday, but we finally got it up and running with all the delays that the truck drivers encountered and the interstate closure that slowed things down. We finally were able to get all the supplies together and open that site. And there were thousands of people that were served, line of cars all the way around the church, all throughout the day. I was out there right before 8 o'clock when they were getting set up with the National Guard that's helping us out. And then I was there towards the end of the afternoon, and still lines of cars, people getting food, ice, water, getting the supplies that they needed. But we're very happy to see that. We're hopeful that there's going to be more sites. We're very thankful for Sarasota County that worked to coordinate that, because there are different sites throughout our community that have been affected by the storm, but very happy to see that here in Northport. Some of our city leadership, some of our city commissioners were out there helping, doing their part to get supplies to people that need it. So that was a very positive sign to see people being helped in their time of need.
You talk a little bit about the flooding waters out in the estates and how that's being handled right now. And really, I was just out there. I've got some amazing drone shots of how much the water has regressed. And I don't want to say we're back to normal by any stretch of the imagination. We're not. But it is looking so much better out there. But people should really not return, because there's still some major flooding in that area and road sensitivity. Can you talk about it?
Absolutely. I was also out at Sumter and I-75 in that area. The governor had a press event. I don't know if you caught it on the local news, but
I haven't caught it yet, but I'm going to rewatch.
Yeah. He was here meeting with some of the local officials. The county sheriff was there. Some of our leadership at the city to tour the area. They went on a tour by airboat. And so I was able to see them take off. I didn't go out on the boat, but I've seen some of the footage and the photos. And so there are areas still that are very much underwater, very much not safe, only passable by boat. We saw a lot of the homes that are stranded there. But, to your point, John, the waters are coming down a little bit. And so we're hopeful and optimistic. I heard a report from our public works team that watches those water levels very closely. And we talked about this before. As you know, it's going to take several days for those rains that held to the north of us with this historic rainfall.
All right, there we go.
To come down.
Jason.
Yeah. Hey.
We're freezing up just a tad.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. We're freezing up, but can you start from the beginning of the airboat ride for the governor?
Sure. Yeah. So the governor was out on an airboat tour, and I didn't get to go along, but I saw some of the photos and video that came back, and there's some areas that are strictly passable only by boat. Very much underwater, a lot of homes stranded out there in the estates. And so, while we've seen some of that incredible footage, and with all that said, the water levels are starting to come down. Our public works team has given us a bit of a report. They look at those levels very closely, and they're encouraged by what they're seeing, that they're starting to trend downward. As you know, it takes several days for that rainfall up north, and we had a historic amount with Ian. It's going to take several days until we see those levels start to subside here in Northport, but they are encouraged by what they're seeing. So hopefully that's going to continue. In the meantime, we still want to encourage people that if they're surrounded by water, we've had a lot of people asking the city and coming to us asking for supplies. And can you bring me some supplies? Well, while it's very tempting for us to say, of course, we want to help you, that's a very challenging effort to get it to all the people who need. help. And if you are stranded and you're running low on supplies or you're running
Hey,
low on water,
Jason, can you log back out and log back in, please?
sure. Yep.
We're getting
I
some
can do
breakup.
that. We'll do.
So real quick, I'm going to kind of repeat what he's saying because I've actually been out on the road looking while he's chiming back in and chiming back out. If you're out in the States and you're wanting supplies, listen, your best bet is to get out and let this water recede. We're not really sure how long it's going to take. We're still getting the watershed from up north. And as that watershed from up north comes down, it's still going to fill up the backside of the estates because that canal, if you live out there, runs parallel with 75. That canal is absolutely pushed to its limits. There's major flooding going on in that area that used to be considered normal flooding. So I'm going to bring Jason back on to talk about it. Jason, can you go ahead and talk about the flooding situation in the estates and what people should do if they're still there and somebody comes to their door via big truck that actually is driving up and down the streets right now?
Yeah, so we're encountering a lot of situations where we hear from people who are still stuck at home, surrounded by water, and they're asking for supplies. Can you bring us food? Can you bring us water? When you're asking that, of course we want to help and we want to get them what they need, but it really is an emergency situation. If you're stuck at home without water, that's an emergency. And so you should really be calling 911. You need to be rescued. You need to evacuate that area. You need to get to a safe place because it's going to be very difficult for our first responders to get out there, expend the amount of resources. And of course, we want to help. We want to get you water, but you're still in a dangerous situation. And if you're still out there a few days from now, we've got to go back out again and bring you more supplies. You really need to get out and you really need to call 911. If you're finding yourself, I've heard from them myself. We get them here, not only 911, but they call the city's phone line. We have our call center running every day and they're fielding those kinds of calls. We're hearing them on social media, people messaging us. I'm stuck at home with my child and we're running out of diapers. We're running out of water. And that's an emergency. That's a situation where you call 911. We'll come and get you. They're out there. Our first responders from fire rescue are out there helping people get out of those situations. So you need to leave if that's the case.
Can you remind them about what happens at dark, about being escorted out after dark? Because we don't want to put our first responders and our volunteers in harm's way.
Absolutely. I mean, you're creating a dangerous situation, not only for yourself, but for those first responders. And so they don't want to be out there treading those waters and the hazards that lie beneath them to get you, because maybe you thought you'd be okay and you'd get through this. You've ridden out other storms and now you're finding yourself in this serious situation. So, you need to do the right thing and get yourself out of harm's way and keep the first responders out of harm's way too.
Can you talk about the amount of lineman trucks and FPL coordination today? Because truthfully, what I saw today in our area and even into Englewood was like the Cajun Navy showing up, United Cajun Navy showing up on one spot. Truthfully, can you talk a little bit about what's going on? Because I find it to be amazing day 4.
Yeah, it really is. We've got a liaison from FPL who works right here in our emergency operations center. And that's where I'm talking to you from. So all the leadership from the city, the different departments that are working this case, this incident, the first responders, and FPL is right here with us. They're a partner. And I've spoken to him personally, and they've given some estimates. You may have seen them out there in the media or that we shared from the city, where they're estimating by October 9th that 95% of this area, South Sarasota County, that's been affected, will have their power restored. But they're also very confident that in the days from now leading up to then, they're going to get more and more people online. There's going to be those, serious cases that are really hard to get to, where there's some serious damage to power lines that are down. But they're doing everything they can. And it was just a matter of, we needed to get through the storm first. We needed to get the roads cleared so the trucks could get in here and stage. And then they needed to get a handle on the situation before it was safe for them to get out there and do the work that they need to do. So it really is remarkable. And they're dealing with this, remember, with the storm like Ian, it's all over the state. There's, many parts of the state that have the same issue. So it's not just Northport, it's not just Sarasota County. So they're doing an amazing job to get the power back. I understand that they have some charging stations that are being launched where people who are still without power can go and get at least a charge, get their cell phone charged, get a little battery life, maybe get cooled off, before they have to head back home. So they're dealing with the power situation. And, keep tuned to the Northport website, northportfl.gov. We've got all that information out there for you if you need that.
Can you talk a little bit about our road safety situation? Because we've had so many closings. Have we reopened anything? And what is the preparation now for quick repair for Price Boulevard so that main thoroughfare gets opened up? I'm sure in sections in time.
Right. Public Works is working on a plan. I don't know all the details yet, but there's a lot of conversations that have to be had, especially when you're talking about the bridges that have been impacted on Price. As you know, there's a Price Boulevard widening project that's on the horizon, and so how does that all work together? And what's it going to cost, of course, right? So how do we make that road passable, and what's the long-term plan? Along with so many other of our roadways. There is on our website, we've started doing a daily road conditions map. So things are changing every day, but you can go and check out that map. So if you're wondering, am I going to be able to get home? Am I going to be able to get to this area? You can check that map. We're working with our GIS folks who can create a map for us. And so at least that's some valuable information for people to see how they can get around. I know I've been impacted, and a lot of people have, with the interstate closures and openings that have happened with the on-ramps. And so situations like that with the flooding, it's changing every day. So we're doing our best to make the roads passable as we can so people can get around town.
What is the website for that information, please?
Sure. If you just go to the city's website, northportfl.gov, you can see our alerts page. It's right across the top of the page in red. And on that page, we're updating it every day with all the latest information, rolling it over each day with the latest information up at the top. We're starting to compile a lot of the resources that folks are going to need because, again, we know there's going to be a long recovery effort. So we're starting to gather some of those pages where you can get assistance, signing up from FEMA. There's going to be a lot of information out there, a lot of useful things that people need. And so if you go to that page, we're encouraging everybody to keep that bookmarked, keep updating it, because we'll have all the latest information that they need there.
And talk about the food supplies, not just at the drop stations, but please talk about how Publix and Winn-Dixie and all those types of food vendors are going to bring relief to people in the sense that their doors are going to be open. I know that there's been a push for product, but talk about that, and then talk about the relaxed environment people should try to take into the doors because everybody's under stress.
Absolutely. We're going to rely on the public sector as well as the private sector to get our recovery efforts going. So we want to get our businesses back and up and running. It's encouraging to see them when they are able to open their doors, because so many people are going to rely on that. They're going to need fresh food and groceries and supplies and gas. We know that's a big issue. Our law enforcement are out there to help with any situations, because we've seen long lines at the gas station, and that creates traffic hazards. We want everybody to keep calm and recognize that we are all in this together. So everybody's out there trying to do the best they can to get their gas tank filled and get their grocery cart filled. So there's going to be hopefully a lot of patience in the community and understanding that we're working together to get back to normal as well as we can.
And, there's been a lot of damage in different spots. I will tell you a quick story, because I know that one of the things that we're dealing with is like Holiday Park was major hit, along with a lot of the other mobile home parks out there. I was there today, and believe it or not, one of the citizens, that's a dear friend of mine, which I will talk to him about later, rode the storm out in the trailer, which is not a great idea. And the fact that he made it was a blessing. But there were people that survived in there. But there's a lot of damage. If you're driving up and down 41, that necessarily is not seen from 41. Okay. Can you talk about what the first responders are doing in there? Because what I saw was a lot of drive-through checking on people, doing their safety checks, making sure people had the needs covered that were there. Can you talk about how that approach has been handled within City Hall?
Sure. That's a big part of what they're doing because they're the boots on the ground. They're out there in the community seeing the extent of the damage, and we're really only beginning to get a sense of just how widespread some of the damage has been, how hard different parts of the community have been hit. And so our first responders are out there, and they have the best firsthand knowledge of the need. So that's all being coordinated very closely, and figuring out how we're going to get those people. First and foremost, it's their safety, their wellness, well-being, and then the recovery effort of how do we get those neighborhoods back open so people can return home if they need to. The other thing that's going to be going on is the damage assessment, and so that's beginning. We've created a survey that people, if you go to the website, there's a survey that anybody can take to put in the damage that they've sustained at their own homes or businesses, just to start that process of getting a sense of how much the damage has been widespread throughout the community. That's going to help our assistance that we might need when we go to federal and state assistance as a community. Our teams here from the city will be going out to be doing the damage assessment where they actually go house to house, neighborhood to neighborhood, and figure out how many structures have been impacted, how many roofs are out there that need repair, how many homes are lost or uninhabitable, mobile homes and things like that. So that process is just beginning, and that's going to be a big step for us as we get a sense of how much Northport has been impacted.
And I'm going to ask you this question. You may or may not know the answer, so I'm not trying to set you up for a non-response. But I have been asked this question a lot today. And if you don't know, I would love to get the information on what City Hall recommends. Is that how do people handle the FEMA side of things on the insurance side? I have been telling people, contact your insurance company first, and they will recommend the best way to handle it. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. You're right. I'm not an expert in that area, John. And I think all of us are going to learn a lot in the coming days and weeks and months about that process. I know we've shared some initial information from FEMA where you can go and sign up and start that process. If you go to the FEMA website, you'll find that information. But I think it's going to be a long process, and we'll be helping to educate the community as we learn more about it.
Is there anything in particular you'd like to tell people now that are listening that they can share in their Northport family?
Well, I would say first and foremost, you put it best, Northport family. We like to say it's a community of unity. That's kind of a slogan our city manager and a lot of people here in the leadership team like to share, because more than ever, we're going to have to be united. We're going to have to come together to recover from what we've all suffered. But we know Northport is going to come out stronger than ever. So we appreciate everybody out there who's been patient, who's really come together. We're encouraged by the amount of compassion, the amount of folks that want to help. I know we've seen it here with the city employees and the first responders getting food donated, with so many people reaching out to us through social media, willing to help. willing to donate their time, just like your guests there, to help this community recover. So that's very encouraging, and we know we're going to come out a stronger community in the end.
Well, I do have another guest in the house, and I'll put him in front of the
That's
camera.
T-Rex.
That's
I see
T-Rex.
that.
He's not ours. He is actually a friend's, and he is he's just relaxing right now.
Wait,
Let me
Turn that light out. Oh, there he
there
is.
we go.
He is gigantic.
Yeah, he's a good fella, and
Wow.
I thought he was dead last night,
but
but
he's kind of revived himself.
Okay.
So
I am now the mother of dragons. That's what I'm going with.
and notice that wildlife is in our house. It normally isn't. So
I know.
I will tell you that
I don't even like reptiles, and now I am the mother of dragons.
It's
I
a
don't
crazy house here.
It's a crazy house here. I'm sorry, buddy.
Hurricanes bring out the best in people.
Oh.
It really does.
All right.
You know? I like this one, Jason.
Yes, thank you.
We're very lucky to have you.
No,
Jason.
Po. We love you.
Jason
Thank you.
a little bit
Yeah,
over,
how long, Jason?
a little bit over a month.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Can you tell us
I
about your
haven't even
initiation?
met you yet, Jason.
My initiation, John, I think I just, if living at City Hall for a week and going without power and, being away from home and still trying to get information out to the community isn't my initiation, I'm not sure what is. So I feel like I'm definitely a part of the community. And we've definitely been through a lot together in just a short time. So I'm very happy to be here and help serve the people.
Well, can you continue to give high kudos to everyone at
Yes.
City Hall? And really, I believe that because our governor was on location today and actually has seen the issue that we have, I believe that somewhere down the road, we're going to address more than roads.
Yeah.
Well, we've got some water issues post storm that we have to address, don't we, Jason?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right, John, with having the governor put Northport in the spotlight. We certainly appreciate his support and the federal assistance that we've gotten already. But having Northport being highlighted as a community that's really been affected and impacted is only going to help us in the long run to get the resources that we need.
Did you get to hear anything he said post viewing of the estates?
I did. He was he remarked that he really had never seen water levels like that, and he's toured a lot of disaster areas around Florida when we've had storms, and even now, as widely impacted as Florida has been by this storm, seeing the levels of water that he saw, I think was really eye-opening to him. And so, he really made a pledge at the end to do everything he could to help us. And so we're very appreciative to have that support.
And I got to tell you, I am going to let you go, and I would love to talk to you more, but I want to have you back on tomorrow for another update. But I got to tell you, the amount of people that I've seen out on the road and the attitudes that are out there right now, that people are really helping their neighbors, I think, more than ever before, and bringing them close together, along with reptiles.
And T-Rex made it.
Yep. So I will say,
I saved a reptile.
we've had a lot of entertaining moments here, but there's a lot of positive. There's a lot of positive going on in our community, and really, I think it's because of the leadership that we have, not just here, but up the ladder. And I do believe it is a compliment towards everyone at City Hall and DeSantis himself. Ed Eagle says he's had a cookout every night.
What's his address? We're
Yeah,
starving.
but Jason,
Ed Eagle.
I truly appreciate everything you're doing. I'm going to continue to talk about what I saw out in our city today. We need to get together after this because I know you've got drones, but we've got drone shots too for you to share.
Yes.
Because I think the more data that we have, the better off we are. So I definitely look forward to one, meeting you in person, but two, to share.
That sounds great. I really appreciate it, John.
You
Thank
guys
you.
have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Hi, Jason.
Oh, he's wonderful.
He is
Hey.
wonderful. So
So
we have.
still online. We're still
All right,
on
we're
the air.
still on the
Yes,
air.
still on the air.
Oh,
Still on the
you're
air,
still
Carrie.
air?
Carrie's
Is it?
very entertaining right now.
She is.
everyone.
Wait here.
I know that you've already
No.
showed him.
It's the United Cajun
So-
Navy new
All right,
mascot.
the
Here's the
United Cajun 8, but this is our new mascot.
Okay.
Name him. You see
T-Rex. This
T-Rex.
is T-Rex.
The United Cajun Navy.
He is. We're going to get him an
Dragon.
outfit. I'm hoping that Carrie goes and feeds him, and
he's been
we can have.
fed.
Is our other guest out here?
Oh, you have another guest. All right.
Is our other guest here?
What? Who's our
Listen,
guest?
Northport,
Nicole. Is Nicole
you
here?
guys
No, I
are
don't-
going
oh,
to
Can
come
you
back
please check?
stronger than
Can you
ever.
please check on her?
I've been through Hurricane Sandy up in Breezy Point, and it takes a long time to recover. But your town will be better, more resilient, and you'll be stronger and a more united community. I promise you. Good things will come out of it. It's a terrible time for everybody. We know that. But it will be fine. It will be. And
Awesome.
yeah.
So
Listen.
you guys are heading where now?
So we have to go back to Hernando County because we have to work tomorrow. But we're going to go beg our bosses off. Well, beg our bosses off. We have trailers coming down tomorrow. There's a 17-foot trailer coming from Hernando. And then on Monday through Friday, we're collecting stuff in Hernando County. And we have a convoy coming down to help people in this area. I didn't mention before, if you have family down in the Fort Myers area, because it took us an hour from the site where the United Cajun Navy is set up right now, is 16520 South Tamiami, which is 41. You know that.
Where's it at?
It's the Global Logistics Building.
Global. Give me a surrounding. What's the
Uh,
next building? Is it near the airport on 41, or is it near the hospital on 41?
we're from Hernando County. We don't know anything about here. We're just,
yep, I do, but I'm giving you some. So Lee County Hospital. Is it by Lee towards downtown?
Yeah, probably.
All right. So
Sure.
in that
41.
area, what's the address again?
It's 16520.
And they can contact you to check on loved ones and get
Yep.
information that way,
Through
right?
UnitedCajunNavy.org. You just go on and you ask for assistance, and they'll give you a ticket number, and we'll have volunteers out in the field and try to make well-being checks. Check your house if you can't get there to check it yourself to make sure it's still standing. But we also have points of distribution for donations and for the rest of the community.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you so much for
I
having
really
us.
appreciate you guys
No,
being
no,
on. I
thanks
really
so much,
appreciate it
John.
big time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys have a great day.
All
Drive
right.
safe. We have an 8:00 curfew, but I'm sure you'll get away with it.
Oh, we're out of here. We're out of here.
All right. So
Take
thank
care.
you so much, and I hope to have you on
Thanks,
again.
We'll stop back.
Absolutely.
I'll see you on there.
You got it. Thank you guys so much. So we've got a lot of great people doing a lot of great things outside of our community, and I've got two more guests that I'm going to put on the air. One can sit here, one can sit here. Can you lock that again, please? Because that'll keep her out.
Locking the family out.
I am locking the family out because, I've been distracted all day, and I'm sitting on the radio doing this yet tonight. But I want to give an update what I saw today. I know that I just had Jason on the air. What I'd like to tell you is the first time now in about 4 days, today being the fourth day, I have seen so many lineman trucks on the road, so many FPL workers, so many traffic light coordinators. More gas stations are opening. Please, everyone, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, stop panicking about fuel. I'm going to promise you this. Fuel's coming in here at such a clip. I wouldn't be surprised if 10 to 15 more gas stations in our surrounding area are opened up by morning. Okay? So please tell everybody to chill. If you've got 2 or 3 days worth of food or 4 days worth of food, let the people in dire need get there first. Okay. If you can cook for your neighbors, my wife's been cooking all day, and we're feeding neighbors. We're feeding everyone in our area. We're doing checks on the seniors in our territory. There's nothing more important than making sure that you knock at doors in your neighborhood. The stress level that people are on, and what we just went through, there are seniors within our own neighborhood right now that we're just trying to get them to answer the door because they're still scared. And now they're scared because total strangers are coming to their door. So relax. Everyone take a deep breath. What I saw on the streets today was amazing as far as the care and the really just having so many alignment trucks on the road today blew me away, because yesterday, no sign. Day before, no sign. Day before, no sign. Today, and I have to remind myself, it's day 4. And we have been inundated with lineman trucks. And I'm going to promise you this. If you look at pictures online, we are not the most devastated area. We are not. So we have to keep that in mind, and wouldn't hurt to beep your horn, which I did today, passing the caravan of lineman trucks. I just started beeping my horn. They were raising their fists and beeping their horn back. What a way to say thank you back to the volunteers. And I'm going to find out how many states, because what I find to be amazing is that we're not talking local linemen. We're talking FEMA boat rescue. The FEMA boat rescue from Ohio was at Sumter and Price at Lady Slipper 3 days ago, getting people out in the same canal that I went down in a different boat to get friends out. It's amazing what's happening. We have to remember there's a lot of good people out there doing a lot of great things. Okay. Keep that in mind. And now I'm going to take you to my next guest, who is what I found to be amazing right now, because I'm going to let her tell her story and tell what's going on within her own house, her own business, and then what she and her husband are, and a team of people are really doing to bring great things to our area. Can you talk about that, please?
Sure.
And I'll let you introduce yourself first.
All right. I am Nicole Nappy with Move Mountains. My husband is out of view, but that's Steve. We've got 4 kids at home, and we run Move Mountains. So we've been a nonprofit since January of 2019, and we focus on children serving the community. So prior to COVID, we had 400 youth volunteers. We had clubs in the schools where we brought the service projects directly to the kids. So our main focus is that getting the kids out and doing the things. So even today, if you check our Facebook page, Move Mountains, we posted pictures of all young kids doing things around the community. Kids out walking their elderly neighbors' dogs, teenagers taking down shutters for elderly people, helping out the veterans, picking up fence pieces and things like that. So the kids are, feet on the ground. We adults are working on feeding people that don't have food, getting water to people. We were actually trapped up in Rhode Island when this all happened. We couldn't get back home. Thankfully, we had friends with our dogs. We brought back like 12 suitcases with extension cords and tarps and all kinds of stuff. We're through most of that at this point, but we did go out shopping today. People are picking up food and water at our home. If you check Move Mountains, you'll see where you need to go for that. You can text me. And we actually were, Michael Bailey of K&M Air Services in Tampa reached out to us this morning. And James Webb from Jimmy's World on YouTube and Marcelo Caruso from Express One Aviation. They are going to fly in 4 planes for us to Punta Gorda early this coming week. And we're going to get those supplies to a couple of locations for people to come and pick up as needed. So we'll be at 950 Tamiami Trail, Unit 104 in Port Charlotte. And the other, that's Hardesty in Hanover Engineering Building. And the other one is going to be over in the parking lot by K&K Bakery. So we're trying to stay like South Northport to, North Port Charlotte, and then up in Northport. So those should be between Tuesday and Wednesday. But if you check our Facebook page, we'll keep you guys updated there.
And your Facebook page again?
It's Move Mountains.
Okay.
I'm not sure of the.
I'm going to hope I can get on there and get it and capture it. I'm going to try. My internet's being stretched because I'm doing so much, but Move Mountains.
Yes, sir.
And that's Move Mountains on Facebook by itself, correct?
Yes.
So I'm going to try to pull that up here real quick and tell me what it's taken to coordinate all this.
It's actually been really helpful to me. So I know that sounds crazy, but our house is not in the greatest place right now. Yeah, it's that one. We need a new roof. We need new ceilings. We're going to need new walls. We have 4 kids and 4 dogs. So this has actually been keeping me busy and keeping my mind off of our own things. We've had people pick up today who have lost everything to the point where like one lady came and all she had was the clothes on her back. We ran in the house. We went through the closet, pulled out clothes, threw them in a bag and gave her a bag of clothes. Like it's just, my phone's like off the hook. I keep charging it in the car. But yeah, it'll happen. We've got a big group of people, and did I mention PGT is letting us use their flatbeds?
Nope. Go ahead. I love that.
Yes, PGT is gonna give us they're gonna come out and help us with a flatbed from Punta Gorda Airport to bring the stuff to our location. Drop the Walls Boutique. They are over in, where is that located? Where's the Strawberry Festival and all that?
Lakeland?
No, what
No,
is?
no. Oh, shoot. Shoot.
They're online anyway.
Yeah.
Drop the Walls Boutique, awesome little
Oh
boutique.
my gosh! Somebody type out where the Strawberry Festival is, if you know, but
Yes.
because I don't want to leave that out, and I know exactly where it's at. I'm so tired I can't
Plant
think
City.
right now. Plant City.
Plant
Yes.
City. Drop
Plant
the Walls
City.
Boutique. They have a brick and mortar in Plant City, but they have been online for years. Janine and Christopher Pennell own it, and they sent us $1,000 this morning. So we went out and grabbed more supplies. So thank you to the Pennells. Yeah, everybody's just kind of coming together, and
So I'm gonna pull on your heartstrings a little bit.
oh boy.
Yeah, and it's okay because I think you need it too. Okay, you've been through so much, right? And you said this has been a good way to kind of distract from all that.
Absolutely.
What would you tell people right now that have gone through exactly what you've gone through and how it's taken the pressure of every day off of you to do this?
Yeah, well, like I said to my kids, we always look at it and we're like, okay, this is our situation and it's not fun, it stinks, but it could be so much worse. We have families through Move Mountains that we help every month. We have this thing called Project Ray, where we provide easy meals that are already put together, snacks and things for families who have someone battling cancer. A lot of times it's the kids. So we have little people in Northport, Port Charlotte that are like stage 4 cancer.
Right.
Imagine those people in this situation. Like we're all well, our animals are fine, the house can be fixed, but like there are people that are fighting for their lives and in the same boat as us, or even worse, like the people that showed up and had 2 feet of water in their house, lost everything. Like it's all good.
It
We
is.
were trying to help our friends out in Rescue Garage. We met them. I don't know if you're familiar with Rescue Garage in Northport.
Yes.
We foster for them. Sylvia McCoy is amazing. We met them in a parking lot and gave them all the extension cords that we got them special ones from Rhode Island and power strips and things to get their generators going for the dogs. And I mean, they're having to take like airboats to like these little buggy things just to get to where most of us are now able to drive.
Right.
So it's just, it could be worse. It could be worse. We're
So
good.
would you say that volunteering like you are
Yes.
has made this event better?
Yeah.
Even though it's not good.
Absolutely. But I think it's like that in everyday life.
It
you
is.
know, when it's almost selfish. You do these things and then it makes you feel so much better that it's really like, yeah, okay, well, I helped you, but really I helped myself in the process.
Absolutely.
And that's why we felt like we needed to get to kids when we first started our organization. You know, we had our own and there were no places for them to volunteer because they were too young. So that was our focus. When we started out, we had volunteers as young as 4 years old going into assisted living facilities with us and like just the faces lighting up, you know.
Right.
They're 4. They don't even know what they're doing, but they're making the world of a difference for those people. So, you know, the more that we can get them out doing those things, it becomes second nature. They just do them. But then they, you know, I actually have to say to my kids sometimes, like, do you know, like, how happy you just made that person? And they're like, oh, you know, because they don't even realize it, but it's just instilled in them. So it's so important for kids as young as we can to get them moving and doing those things, and it helps them live a better life.
What an example to have set for kids.
I was a teacher for 14 years in Sarasota County.
All right, so you know exactly what you're doing.
Yes.
You know, there's something to be said about a distraction from a disaster. You're living it,
Yep.
and yet you're doing.
Yep.
I would highly encourage get involved with Move Mountains. Find out what they're doing. Find out how you can help. I will promise you, even if you volunteered a few hours a day somewhere, whether it's Move Mountains, whether it's at the food line, the food banks, wherever you can give help. You know, it's as easy as going next door and knocking at your neighbor's door and saying, do you need some hot food? If you've never met an 83-year-old man who just went through the hurricane in a hurricane shuttered house by himself, and you've walked to the driveway, and the first thing he says is, I've been looking for you since this happened. That happened to me today. It's a very special customer / friend of mine, but I will promise you, the minute that you go help someone, if you are having a really bad day, you will have a great day. And that's what you're living every day.
The Hill family came to us just before I came here. Nikki Hill is a teacher at Toledo Blade, and they lost everything. That was the family that we got them the clothes and stuff like that. And her husband does like disaster removal, trees and things. So I have a huge tree in front of the house right now. And as we're putting the stuff into his truck, he gets his chainsaw out and comes over and just starts cutting the branches. And I was like, no, it's fine. His knee was injured, you know, and he's like, let me just get the stuff off of the, you know, the walkway so that you guys don't get jabbed with anything as you're going in the house. This man just found his wedding album soaking wet in like just puddles. And he's cutting the branches off of the tree in front of my house.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. And it wasn't like, we didn't ask, we didn't, you know, and I said, oh yeah, you know, we'll get to it. You know, we're kind of waiting on insurance. And he's like, well, let me just get this stuff out of the way. You know, went back to the car, got hobbled over, poor guy, and got the stuff off.
So give your locations again of where you're going to be getting help out to our community.
So we haven't figured out with the planes yet if it's going to be Tuesday or Wednesday, but it's 950 Tamiami Trail, Port Charlotte. It's right on Collingswood and 41. So it's like Northport, Port Charlotte line, Suite 104. It's the Hardesty and Hanover Engineering Building. They're one of our sponsors. And then K&K Bakery, that parking lot up that way, I believe there's like a laundromat and stuff in there.
Yep.
That will be the second location, but just keep an eye on the page that we have pulled up here, and all the updates will be there.
So this is the second group in my house today that I literally talked to you, what, two hours ago?
Yep.
So one was driving down my street minutes ago at the beginning of this show. So watch it back and share it. Then I had City Hall on for the update, and please listen to what he had to say and share that information, because the mission critical side of things is getting accurate information out so that people stay calm, cool, and collected. I've heard people say on the street, we're not getting any help. I got to tell you, that is so wrong. It's so misleading. It's not true. They've lost their house. Other people have lost their house. Their mobilizing relief for people. And they're doing it here, local. I can't even begin to tell you the amount of coordination that is going on at City Hall and the amount of help that's coming here now. And I need everyone to remember that we didn't deal with one disaster. We've now dealt with multiple disasters, okay? Yes, while we had a hurricane. Yes, while we had wind damage. We've had breakages of levees in our 80 miles of canals, and they're governing that the best they can, okay? We've released a lot of water from the estates that didn't have stoppages before. We've also had the governor show up at the same time, amazingly, and I know it wasn't time because he's not that kind of guy. We had probably at least 100 to 300 trucks mobilized into our area and into Rotunda and into Port Charlotte. Lineman trucks putting the lines up. We've got fuel trucks coming in. So if you can tell your neighbors to stop, just stop getting in line and let people who need gas for generators to get there. If you got a quarter of a tank of gas and you really don't have anywhere to go, you don't need to fill up. You need to let first responders, you need to let people who have generators get in line first. A full tank of gas so you can go gawk and see what's happening and think you're helping by looky-looing. Stay off the damn road. That's all I got to tell you. There's a lot of help being sent this way. And if the help gets bogged down, think of who you're hurting the most. And it could be your own neighborhood. The other side of it is we've dealt with 75 being shut down. If you think that was traumatic to Northport, we had access. You think that's traumatic to south of us? Horrible. Because 41 was shut down at Peace River. You're talking about mobilization of first aid, first responders, all of the FPL guys, the linemen, all those guys that had to come from further up north into our area. And they're battling bridges out, roads clogged. Talk about a patient situation. I would hate to be a volunteer in a lineman truck wanting to go get poles in the ground and get electric going and have to sit in line in traffic because looky-loos are wanting to see how bad it really is. And I'm going to say it like this. It's bad enough in sections that you don't need to go. Just imagine a bomb blowing up in your own neighborhood, because that's what happened. The bomb went off and it reached the whole state. This was not a joke. It was nothing to play with. And people like these two and the two prior and thousands of others are really dedicated to building everything back as best we can, as fast as we can, but also getting people relief in a very quick manner, because what you did in a very short period of time has changed everything for you and your family on a mental side of things, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell people today about staying calm? Because you're almost an expert at this now, because you distracted yourself.
Yeah, that's it. Find a distraction. I said to my girls, my twins are 11, and we went to the office to let them use the bathroom because we don't have power there, but we do have water. So I'm like, let's drive up the street to go to the bathroom. Yep. Our office is at the top of the road. And when we get home, you can make cards that, tomorrow when we're going out, because we had to bring food to some people, they didn't have gas. They couldn't even leave their home because they had no gas and they were out of food and water. So that's when we're getting text messages like, can you get to us? And the gas was making me nervous because we're trying to get to those people. And though we're not fire or, police or anything like that, we're trying to fill in those gaps that the first responders can't get to because they have other problems. And on the way here, we actually ran into a gas station that had just gotten gas. And I was like, this is a sign. That's why we were a few minutes late. I'm like, but I said to the girls, when we get home, make little cards. You can make like little thank you cards for the linemen or the police officers or, whatever. And when we see them, when we're out, you can just kind of hand them to them as we go. There's little things that you can do to keep your kids calm, because even though they might seem like they're okay, there's definitely an anxiety for a lot of them. There's so much unknown, like, especially the younger ones that don't have social media and or don't have access to things right now. Are my friends okay? Are my teachers okay? When are we going to go back to school? Those kinds of things. So if you can keep the little ones busy too, send them outside to go, just say hi to the neighbor or walk their dogs or whatever. Keep them busy.
My mom talked about this today, just a little while ago. I actually told everybody I was going to take 10 minutes, talk to my mom. Well, I gave her 5 and I got a phone call that I had to take. So I got off the phone and then I gave her 12 more.
There you go.
But really important is that we all have to remember we came through a pandemic.
Yeah, these kids have been through so much. I mean, for us as adults, but imagine being young. I mean, even, teenagers and these little ones. I was saying that to my mom the other day, like how many people have lived through 2 crazy, life happenings in their whole lifetime, let alone in their short 11, 12, 15 years. It's intense. So, and that's what my kids were like, this is kind of like the pandemic, right? We can't leave our houses and like, it's weird.
So I got some great news for anybody who's listening out there who is wondering if you have power on Salford. My sister-in-law, who we just got set up with, believe it or not, a solar panel so that she could actually use her sleep apnea machine. Believe it or not, they have power and electricity, water and cable now on Salford. Now, I'm not going to say it's all of Salford, but if you're within the mid-range of Salford and that grid is on task, you have power now and things should get better. My recommendation is that if you had water in your house, you had any water intrusion whatsoever, you need to turn on that AC unit, get that bad boy sucking that water out, and you're going to have to sleep cold tonight because our temperatures are going to drop, but you need to lower the thermostat. And I'm probably going to tell you something that FPL doesn't want me to tell you, but as a realtor, I'm going to tell you, get the dampness out of your house. Okay. I pretty much run all day long with no electric running as far as the AC unit because it was cooler. We've turned it on recent just because now we've had more people coming in, talking and trying to relax and be on air. But truthfully, get your house dried out, get things settled down in your house. And if you're getting power right now, get some food, relax. Food's on its way. It's coming in mass. It's coming in bulk. That Publix truck is delivering more food down this way. But remember, it's going up and down our coast. They're getting it here as fast as they can. I promise you that what's happened in 3 days and I call it 3 days because it's 3 days post, okay? 3 days post of what's happening here is beyond amazing. It's beyond amazing. 72 hours without electricity for some people. 72 hours. Perspective is Captiva Island is now Captiva Sandbar. Fort Myers Beach has more beachfront than it ever has had in a long time. There are things wiped out. There are people hurting around our area worse than we are. If you have your roof off, get it enclosed. Make sure it doesn't leak. If it rains, they say 15 days, we're not going to be without, but we're at the end of rainy season. Okay. So things change. Get your house sealed. Once you got a tarp on or you got the paper that they're bringing around to put on, okay, the sub layer, okay. Once you're sealed, you're not getting wet anymore, okay, because it's going to run off. We're not going to get any strong storms. They're not projecting those. Okay. But if you can get your houses clear of debris, get your windows sealed up with some cardboard, do whatever you can do right now to help your neighbors. Do whatever you can do to volunteer with Move Mountains or any other organizations. Get back with your church. Get back with the food bank. Volunteer your frustration away. I think that's a great example. Probably a great T-shirt too.
There you go.
And somebody's going to print that.
There you
And
go. As soon as I get
I
power.
trademark that right now.
As soon as I get power.
Yeah. Woo! So seriously, I really appreciate you guys taking your time out to come here. I know you're chasing your son, so I'm going to let you go do
Thanks
that.
for having us.
But I want to have you back on next week.
Sure.
When you get this all set up. Let's announce that. Let's get it out on Facebook, and let's talk about how this has all been coordinated. And the people up north, if you want to send them a link when we do this, I would love to get the volunteers that are working with you
Sure.
to be on the air with us. And I can host up to about 10 people at the same time. I would love to get their insight on how they feel about this whole situation.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for your
you.
time. I look forward to talking to you
Yes,
soon.
absolutely.
Thank you so much. I
much.
appreciate your time. You guys have a great night. So if you're just joining us, there have been 3 guests on the show, 3 different styles of guests on the show. Please watch it back from the beginning. Please share this information. Please comment on anything. Please, anything that you would like me to follow up on, any questions you have. I am truly checking everything I possibly can. And Rich Suggs, he's been doing amazing. RJ Malloy has been getting on the best that he can. The listening audience out there, Dennis, hi Dennis, I saw him today. I got him fuel for his generators. He is fine. Bud Buckley and his wife, they're fine. Open mic at Common Grounds. We'll be back with hopefully full studio soon. Things are changing in our community. If you are now joining right now, but I'd like to tell you that the line trucks that are going out, they're amazing. The light crews that are now addressing our roadways to lighten the traffic in the fact that you're not going to have to be a 4-way stop. And please remember 4-way stops at intersections. And if you're that 5th car and you say, I should go through it, stop it. Really stop it. Think about what you're doing. It may take you 15 minutes extra time to stop, start. Help your neighbor out. Don't cause a wreck at an intersection. Selfishness goes a long way. Selfishness goes a long way. Throw it out the window. When you're driving down the road, throw your selfishness out the window. And remember traffic laws. Please remember traffic laws. The sirens that are going off around here and further south throughout the day, you need to know they're even having trouble getting through sections of town. Now that you have power, stay home. Get your place cleaned up. Don't complain about it. I was blessed. I can't tell you I know how you feel. I can tell you that I understand what I've walked into and where I've been and how I've hugged my fellow friends and neighbors and new friends and new extended neighbors. If you don't think that's valuable, you're wrong. You're wrong. If you think spending some time taking a deep breath in the morning and getting your day started by making sure the ones that are around you are not in harm's way, you're wrong. My neighbors that I waved to before are now neighbors that call me by my name. My neighbors that I waved to before now come to my door and they're getting hot food. My wife has been cooking for everyone all day. My sister-in-law, who just got power, came to my house tonight and was cooking with my wife and my niece, and we were feeding people. We're making sure everyone around us has a hot meal. Seniors, check on them. Please, 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 please check on seniors in your area. You never know what happens in 24 hours inside their house. This stress level that we're all going through, I'm trying to get information from up north, and I've got family working on it now, that we're going to try to get information out on the free mental health side of this. Okay. I gotta tell you, I on a personal note, I've now seen more than I want to see. I've got pictures of things I don't want pictures of. Okay. I want to go back to normal. I want to ride my motorcycle. I want to just go down the road. Not my hair blowing, but I want to go down the road. And I just want to look around and see our beautiful city and the surrounding beautiful cities around us back again. Please don't think that negative, that you're going to take that to bed and put pressure on yourself. Very important note. If you're hearing me and you're talking to others, you're on the right side of the ground. You're truly on the right side of the ground. If you don't think people care, please get around people who care about you. Please understand that if you're listening right now and you haven't gone out your door to let someone know you're okay, please do so. Please encourage others. Get them in your driveway, get some iced tea, get a soft drink, get some liquor, get a beer. I don't care. Get a lawn chair, sit in your driveway, and get conversation going that may lead to other conversations than the hurricane. There's nothing better than a peace of mind. I got recharged last night. I was exhausted. I'm not alone. I can't imagine what our first responders feel like. I want you to think about it. I want you to share it. I want you to share it with more people than you know. I want you to encourage accurate information. People were out there saying that 75 had collapsed. Talk about a panic that can be set on fire with social media. And then you walk into a neighborhood that hasn't had electric, cell, or social media. And you sit down and you have open conversation about why they're not bad. I've had those. I had those conversations today. It's one of the hardest things that you'll do. And I've had to tell people that loved ones have died. I haven't done that in this event, but I got to tell you, to watch people change, to watch people turn a corner and realize that, yes, they were hit. But when you walked in the door, they had doubt and fear. And when you left, they didn't have doubt. They didn't have fear. And they were thankful. That's what you have to remember. That's what you have to share. You have to talk more. You have to tell people what's happening because they're all not getting accurate information. Some people are giving out bad information. I'm not going to do it. I'm not. We have an amazing, amazing group of people heading up the relief of our area and so many others. The visual, it's horrifying. Horrifying. Sit down and try to explain it to people who've been through a Cat 4 with that sound for 4 hours, wrapping their house, shredding some drywall, losing some shingles, damp carpet, and they think their life is upside down. And then explain Captiva Sandbar now. Explain Fort Myers. Explain Naples. Explain Punta Gorda. Let them know how lucky they really are. Because if you're on this side of the ground, thank God. We all make choices. My choice to share to you tonight is be positive, volunteer, help someone out, and feel better tomorrow. And if you do it every day, what an amazing week we could have. And I promise you, every person that's working towards helping you right now feels the same way. I don't know how many states it's from. I will find that number at some point. But they're from all over the country. All over the country. Stop the negative. Believe that help is on its way. And respect what we have going on. And encourage others to do the same thing. And I said this the other day. It's not political. I don't believe the storm was political because it didn't attack one side or the other. It just attacked everybody here. Politics aside, all the way. They can do politics outside. They can blame whoever they want to blame. I say screw them, okay? Understand what we've got going on mass scale and be very scared that we picked the wrong leader. We didn't. We've got somebody right now fighting for us tooth and nail. Tooth and nail. He was here. He looked at it. He viewed it. I know for a fact he was here. Sumter and Price. I was getting drone shots in that area today. The water is receding. I was with my friend whose house I went to 3 days ago to tell him it's time to go. I think I've told this story, but I'm going to tell you one more time. There's nothing more terrifying than walking into where you see somebody's truck and you see nobody. Because he couldn't have walked out. He would have drove out. His keys and his cigarettes are laying on the counter. People who know me know I have a loud mouth. I yell and scream for my Buckeye group every weekend to get it tuned up. I don't know that I yelled the name Joe so many times. And when I would say panicked. I would say panicked because I couldn't find him or a body or any evidence that he was around. I went out and I screamed it louder than I've ever yelled OH with the return of IO. And they heard me. If you yell loud enough, they'll hear you. Squeaky wheel gets the grease, kind of. At the end of the day, the water's receding. He's got grass in his front yard today. The bench I was standing on over water, you can sit on tonight. Is his house going to be good? Yes, his house is going to be good. Life first, house second. Emotions are crazy right now. They're absolutely insane. There are great people doing great things. There are good people doing great things. There are people who need us to do great things for them. I showed this bigger picture because my room doesn't look like this. But when you take people in, it does. I've done things in my house with people coming in and taking showers, doing laundry, going out the door. My wife is cooking for everybody that we can cook for. We're checking on seniors all over. I've got video for the city to look at. My brother-in-law, Eric Davies, has been down. My son, Michael, has been working feverishly. I don't know. Oh my gosh. People outside of our community have put time and energy trying to figure out how to help. What to do next. What to do next is the example that I had sitting behind me just 10 minutes ago. Her house is gone. Her family's upset. And they're volunteering to get product here on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Holy crap, think about that, because today's Sunday. I watched the Ohio State game. That was my break yesterday. Thank God we won. I didn't watch any football today because I was working. I was out knocking at doors. I was chasing gas. I promise you this. I promise you this. And my sister's proof. Because I already told people on Southford, your electric's on. We're moving forward. There's no one in this city right now, not one worker, not one in the state, not any in 50 states, that has an eye on us that isn't working to move us all forward. Grab a friend, grab a neighbor, give them a hug, tell them you care, and listen to them. Care taught me that in doing this show. We got more abuse going on in our city that was created by Mother Nature than ever before. If you don't think people need to talk and you don't think you need to listen and let them get it out, you're wrong. We don't need depression setting in at a faster pace than ever before in our nation. Please take care of your neighbors. Please check us out tomorrow. I promise I'm going to be back online. I appreciate every single person who's chimed in. And I'll see you tomorrow. It's been a stressful day. And I got to tell you, I look forward to tomorrow. Because tomorrow, more greatness is going to happen. And at some point, the majority of the people in our area are going to start talking to the others and putting their foot down and saying, yes, 4 days and people have electric. 4 days, gas stations are up. 4 days, Publix has been open twice. 2 days, not twice, 2 days. Walmart is open on US 41. Cat 4, 4 days. Cat 4, really Cat 5. I've been against Cat 5, and I wanted Cat 4. But think about what I'm saying. Think about relaxing. Seriously, if you've got fuel, You may only have to go a couple of days. Okay. If you've got enough for a couple of days, stop. Don't panic. Okay. You on Suffered now that had fuel, get that fuel to somebody else. Don't put it in your car. Don't hoard it back. Take it over to some friends. Figure out who needs fuel. I promise you, if you put it on Facebook, who needs fuel? Where do I need to go? You're on a mission then. You're not looky-looing. You're delivering fuel to somebody who doesn't have it. Go save a life. I'm not telling you to go looky-looing. Go save a life. Be a neighbor. Figure out how you can help and stay out of the way. I've done it all day. Haven't prevented any first responders anywhere. Haven't gone on one road closure anywhere, and have had every intention of serving the community. If you're going to go out, please use mine as the example. Because people are going out just to look around. If you're going to do it, go ahead and take some food out with you. Give some food out. Go check on some doorways. Don't touch anything, but go check on people. I'll be back tomorrow. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I appreciate you listening in. And I can't wait to get back to my regular show, Real Talk, so I can talk about the positive things and not so much of this. I hope you enjoyed the show as much as you could. Have a great night and take care. I'll talk to you soon.